Hey everybody, it's David Sirota. So by now I'm sure you've heard some of the news about Mick Mulvaney, the CFPB chief, and what he told bankers. There's an important series of lessons here that isn't being really discussed in the reaction to Mulvaney. Okay, so first, what did Mulvaney say? He said, quote, "We had a hierarchy in my office in Congress. If you're a lobbyist who never gave us money, I didn't talk to you. If you're a lobbyist who gave us money, I might talk to you." Okay, so that's what Mick Mulvaney told the American Bankers Association. Now, the interesting thing is he's just essentially admitting to the way that the Congress typically works. I mean, this is new in the sense that he is basically saying out loud what is pretty clearly the reality in Congress, and that people know is the reality in Congress and have known that reality for years. So I guess Mulvaney's crime here is simply admitting very explicitly that the way politics typically works is if you give money, you get access. If you don't give money, you don't get access. Now, the other piece that hasn't been reported in the context of these comments are what Mulvaney did as a congressperson when he was in the Congress. Because you can't pretend to be surprised by this if you've been paying attention to Mick Mulvaney's actual record. And here's his record. We at International Business Times had previously reported that Mulvaney had sent a series of letters pressuring federal regulators to back off rules trying to regulate payday lending, and that many of those letters came in close chronological proximity to Mulvaney receiving big campaign contributions from payday lenders and payday lending industry donors. So Mulvaney has admitted that he provided access to people who gave him money, and we also know that in the context of his behavior in Congress, he's somebody who then went to bat for his donors at certain times in pressuring federal regulators. This is a very, very important story in the sense that it's all out in the open. Mulvaney hasn't told us anything we don't implicitly know, but now he's made it explicit. The question is whether the reaction to it, the political reaction, will be isolated to Mulvaney, saying that this is just one guy who has done these things that appear to be outrageous, or whether it will prompt a more systemic conversation about how this pay-to-play culture is the culture on Capitol Hill, is the way things are done on Capitol Hill, is essentially the basic entire system. Mulvaney has shined a spotlight on the system, on the way it works, on how money gets access, and access often turns into legislative acts, legislative favors. That is the Congress. That is not just Mick Mulvaney, even if Mick Mulvaney is the only one so far who has so explicitly, so specifically outlined how that system works.